Now to Spokane, where favorable weather conditions are really helping firefighters get some initial containment, at least on those three devastating fires. According to Incident Command, the very latest from them, firefighters have gained a small percentage, but a percentage of containment on all three. And they have a fire line dug around all three of those fires. They don't expect to see any crazy wind event like we had last weekend. We do have a 37-year-old man accused of starting the Old Trails fire. That was the most devastating of the three fires. He appeared before a judge yesterday for the first time since his arrest on Monday evening. He's held under $1 million bail at this point. There were three witnesses who reported seeing him in a suspicious location near Euclid Road, and that's where that fire started. They saw smoke just moments later. They called police. Now, police initially detained him and then released him. Apparently, maybe even questioned him a couple more times before he was finally arrested on Monday. So, lots of questions about why this guy is even out right now. But here's a little bit more, a clip from television station KGW on this alleged arsonist.
Kids are probably going to have to go to counseling for dealing with all that with PTSD. Like, her daughter has anxiety, man, and to find out that, like, somebody started that, like, there's a lot of families. A teacher that I work with right behind my house lost everything that he had, including his pets, and, like, to know that that all could have been avoided is heartbreaking, man.
Now, this is going to be interesting, too, because court records reveal that this guy came under scrutiny from authorities in two other arson investigations for fires in the Spokane area last summer. So you can be certain they're going to be looking at that once again. He was never charged in those cases, only questioned and apparently never charged. The sheriff in Spokane, Sheriff Knowles, did confirm, in fact, they've got all the court records from down in Arizona where this guy was convicted of manslaughter and sent to prison for killing his own father. He was 21 at the time, shot and killed his father, apparently already had some mental health issues, and ended up pleading guilty to manslaughter and was released then in 2020. Not exactly sure how long he's been up in Spokane, but again, lots of questions about the short prison sentence, why he would have come to Washington State upon his release. But I want to go back to something that former Governor Jay Inslee said as these fires were still raging last weekend. He posted on X a little video clip blaming climate change for the fires. Of course, now we know it was not climate change that caused these fires. It was an arsonist. But I did want to check in with my favorite climate guy to get his take on all this. So, Professor of Atmospheric Sciences at the University of Washington, Cliff Mass. I wanted to get his take on the fires, the weather conditions that kind of got everything going last weekend, and ask him if he thought, in his opinion, if climate change and global warming had anything to do with the fires or the fire spread.
It's a beautiful morning here in Lopez Island, but I'm so concerned. Talked to my friend, a legislator in Spokane, whose home he had to evacuate because of these massive fires in Spokane County. The whole state's under threat now. Climate change. You know, climate change isn't some existential global thing. It's our neighbors. It's our friends. We had to fight for them.
I also chatted yesterday with Washington State Lands Commissioner Dave Upthegrove. He often cites global warming in his policies and how he approaches forest management. We had a phone conversation. He told me this in part. We'll put this up. He says the general consensus of scientists is the climate is impacting weather patterns, and that can sometimes have localized weather impacts. And so I do believe as our climate changes, it creates new challenges in fighting some of these fires. They are started predominantly by humans. It isn't climate change causing the fires. It's the climate change affecting the health of the forest, and it can affect weather conditions. So that was part of what he had to say about all of that. But he did indicate that he's doing a lot better with forest health and managing our forests, and believes that we're taking a lot more proactive approach under his administration than under his predecessor. And this is interesting when you ask Google, and I did this morning, I said, did climate change cause the Spokane fires? The AI generated response back from Google said climate change did not directly ignite the Spokane fires, but it heavily supercharged the conditions that allowed them to explode into a catastrophic emergency. Climate change acts as a climate multiplier. So that was the response when you ask Google if the fires were caused by climate change. So much more to come in the next couple of days. We're getting new information about the fires. And of course, we're going to be following the very latest with the arsonist. He's got another court appearance scheduled for Thursday. So we'll have some more to share with you on episodes later this week. So that's it for today's episode of Washington in Focus Daily. As always, thank you for watching on this Wednesday. Hope to see you again on Thursday.